Hello, you're watching and listening to Polish Radio's external service. This is the English section of the Polish Radio service for foreign listeners. And we are inviting you to another edition of Warsaw Wrap with me, Danuta Isler, and
myself, Agnieszka Bielawska. Hello to all.
Who happens to be my wonderful deputy, helping me being my left and right hand at the same time.
Absolutely, and that's the neck that moves the head.
We're going to look at another edition of our News from Poland magazine and what we have covered in the past week. And I have to say that unfortunately, although this is the middle of summer vacation here in Poland, a lot of serious things happened this week.
Indeed, a lot of serious things happened this week. One of them on Thursday. An object that entered Poland's airspace and then, exploded somewhere near the city of Lublin, which is very close to the Ukrainian border. Investigation continues whether this particular object is a Russian missile, as is probably expected. Even the Ukrainian side said that it is a Russian missile because exactly on the same night there was huge attack on the west of Ukraine and the city of Lviv. So it is not that far. And, it shows that all our attempts at wanting the aid of the United States and enforcement of European army are very, very serious. Because as I heard, I think it was today morning exactly, the retired general saying that we have to be aware of the fact that the war is on. And it's not that we are across the border, because all that we have gone through, including all those hybrid attacks, including all those migrants pushed to the Polish side, we are, in fact, at war. So it is becoming a very serious matter.
Yes, it was a very stark reminder of what's been going on behind Poland's door.
Exactly.
Eastern door. Context is important because of when it happened, coinciding with the meeting of Prime Minister Donald Tusk and President Vladimir Zelensky in Lublin also. But before we go on to that, you would think that we in Poland would be used to those kind of attacks, because this is not the first one when Russia decided to test Article 5 of NATO and our preparedness, our readiness to act. There have been several incidents of such objects
entering
Polish and NATO airspace. They usually land somewhere, like you said, in eastern Poland, close to Lublin. So that's east of the country, close to the Ukrainian border. I remember, I think the first time it happened was the fall of 23. There was a whole debate of how Poland reacted to it. Obviously, F-16s were deployed. Everybody was put in a state of high alert, though it was in the middle of the night. And there have been several incidents like this ever since. So you would think we would already kind of be used to the fact, although I hate to say it, that Russia is testing the waters.
Indeed, and this is what this retired army general said, that we are sort of like enforcing all our possibilities and bettering our armed forces, etc., etc. But people are sort of like being fatigued with the war that is taking place across Poland's border, but there can be no mention of fatigue. We have to be alert.
Exactly. We've been talking throughout stories on News from Poland about, unfortunately, I think, again, donors' fatigue. So the fact that Polish society is kind of tired, although I know it doesn't sound nice, of providing assistance continuously for the last 4 years. This fatigue has also been felt in the United States as well. But yeah, this is a stark reminder that this is not going to end. This is continuing, and nobody knows when it's going to end. Although today, Prime Minister Donald Tusk, talking to Reuters, said that he was talking to President Zelensky and something has to be done within the next 100 days. And we mentioned the context because this incident coincided in time with the meeting meeting of Prime Minister Donald Tusk and President Zelensky in Lublin, in that crucial city close to the eastern border. President Zelensky was coming back from Washington, where he was taking part in the funeral ceremonies of Senator Lindsey Graham, but also he was talking obviously to American officials, including President Donald Trump.
And the talks focused, of course, on the support for Ukraine. But I think one of the main aspects of these talks was the fact that during the NATO summit in Ankara, Donald Trump said that he is considering giving the license to Ukraine to produce
the Patriot
missiles.
Mm-hmm.
And when we think about it, this particular incident that took place on Polish soil, we think that this is an idea that has to be put into practice as soon as possible. Because
yes.
Poland also, our Deputy Minister of Defense, she was also in Washington, and she was also holding talks with American officials. And there she proposed that Poland takes part in this, what she called trilateral production, because she said if Poland was also given the license, then the missiles could be produced in a safer place.
Yes, and the process would go much faster.
Much faster.
Obviously. Also this week in our magazine News from Poland, we had to report on yet another incident concerning Ukrainian citizens living in this country.
I think it is something that we, frankly, we do not like to talk about it, but since it has been on news media, I think all across Europe and not only, the fact is that we do have a lot of Ukrainian migrants, most of them war migrants, living here in this country. They are doing a very good job when we come to think of Poland's GDP.
Yes, I think there are concrete numbers of how much they spend and how much they contribute to the country's
how much they contribute
GDP.
to this country. Still, they are, not all of them, but some had been the objects of... I don't want to say nationalist, but in fact they were nationalist attacks,
yes.
Be it abuse, be it very sort of attacks including beating, hurting people. What makes me think...
Just because they're not Polish.
Because they have this particular soft accent. Even when they speak Polish, well, it is easy to discern whether they are from Poland or not.
Yes.
What made me sort of embarrassed completely for my countrymen was the fact that some of these attacks concerned young people, teens,
yes,
who were attacked on city transport, in trains. This is something that one cannot come to terms with, and that is why I think Prime Minister Donald Tusk issued an appeal to, I think, all of the society and also to right-wing politicians not to sanction such nationalistic attitudes towards people of different origins.
Yes, I think in one of the earlier editions of Warsaw Wrap, we were talking with my other co-host, Michał Owczarek, that this unfortunately contributes in a negative way to the so-called Polish brand and all the good image that we build up as a result of initial assistance.
That is exactly what the Prime Minister said. It's been years that Poland had been building this good image and promoting this country, whereas such incidents, well...
They basically nullify it.
Absolutely.
And erase it. But I did mention Polish brand. One of the things we reported on this week in our News from Poland magazine was the fact that Poland is going to have, or actually has as of this week, a Polish brand commissioner, a totally new initiative, a new position. We actually happened to speak to the person that was that has taken this position, Professor Barbara Mróz-Gorgoń, a renowned economist, and she was tasked with actually creating something like a Polish brand. Now, when I have to tell you, when I've spoken repeatedly over the years for my business show Balance or other stories to foreigners or foreign investors or foreign officials, I always ask them, is there like a Polish product that is known in your country? Is there a brand? What is Poland associated with? And of course, I heard for many years the Pope, vodka, kiełbasa, pierogi z Lewandowski. I thought this was very stereotypical. Those answers did not make me happy.
And what would make you happy? Bigos?
That's another episode.
Well, pierogi is something very stereotypical, but when you come to think of it, it is, of course, it is not only a Polish product, and it is not only that Poland boasts of wonderful pierogi. The whole of the east of Europe is very keen on promoting their own pierogi, and is, I would say, Central Europe too. When we come to think of pierogi, this is an invention of the Chinese, so it is really ages old. I think it is stereotypical, however, in our weekly program, which I co-host together with Elżbieta Krajewska, it's called Polski Fusion, we do try to talk about things in Polish cuisine. And also
pierogies are part of Polish cuisine.
And also to do away with stereotypes, because there were so many rankings, international rankings, talking about Polish cuisine, including Polish cuisine, and pierogi always had a place there. As did the cheesecake, for example. On the 30th of July, did you know that we celebrated International Cheesecake Day?
Yummy. So all this culinary gossip you can get in Polski Fusion, Polish Fusion magazine, which is broadcast on our air on Fridays at 20:30 CET. So you can get all the food-related gossip over there. Those ladies know what they are talking about because they are excellent cooks. All right, folks, time to wrap up this edition. But before we go, we try to tend to finish Warsaw Wrap with something cuddly.
Oh, cuddly, yes, indeed.
I couldn't come up with anything cuddly this week.
I didn't come up. I mean, it was very unexpected. Imagine I had a visit of a squirrel. And this is the Central European squirrel. It does not fly. It is wonderful. It is, well, a red-headed squirrel
fluffy
with
tail.
A wonderful fluffy tail and a wonderful white belly. Well, I live in that part of Warsaw, which is very green. So I have a huge park on the right-hand side of my apartment, on the left-hand side of my apartment, and they are home to all kinds of species, birds, etc., among them the squirrels. And I always observe those squirrels. I give them some nuts when autumn comes, etc., etc. But this one...
So you lure them.
Well, today, but I take it out. I don't set it up on the balcony in a squirrel canteen, but... Today,
but she already knows where to go.
But today, the squirrel simply, I don't know, she climbed on the wall. It's the first floor, so it's quite high, but nothing for the squirrel. And she entered my apartment. She sat on the carpet underneath the table, looked left and right, and then decided to flee, only to come back in a couple of minutes. So, hello, squirrel.
So come back for more, as long as you're not a puma at large. Come back for more. Next week, we'll be talking again about Poland-related developments that we cover at English section of Polish Radio's external service. You can find all our current programs at thenews.pl. My co-host this week was
Agnieszka Bielawska.
And I'm Danuta Isler. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for being with us. Chin chin.